Nice job there, mate.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
A little bit of a chef. I can do that, especially in the back of Colin. Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Wheeler Dealers defied all odds to become one of the few automobile-themed shows popular outside of the United States. The British car show airs on the Motor Trend channel, and its cast members' mission is to salvage cars by repairing them, improving the quality, and selling them off to make a profit. Although the show was based in the United States for the first 6 years, it has now been moved to the United Kingdom to film at a workshop near Bicester Heritage. Over the years, the show has seen mechanics and hosts come and go, but the show remains solid, all thanks to Mike Brewer, who always makes sure to get a perfect replacement for any cast member that leaves. So, what really happened to Mike Brewer? Let's find out.
I mean, I've literally done thousands of labour hours.
Yeah, but you can't put a price on happiness.
No, you actually can literally put a price on car repairs.
But we don't do it for that, do we? We do it because...
You're going to say for the love of
For
cars?
the love of cars, of course we do.
Mike Brewer was born in 1964 in Lambeth, London, to Roger Wilkes and Doreen Fitzgerald. His father, who was the owner of a Ford Pop called Mr. Popster, was heavily involved in vehicle customizing, which helped Mike discover his passion for motoring. Mike's first car was a beige Mini 850cc. Although Mike currently presents Wheeler Dealers on the Discovery Channel with Mark Elvis Priestley, he has had some previous experience as a TV presenter. Mike's television shows have included Driven on Channel 4, Deals on Wheels, Pulling Power, Rex to Riches, Auto Trader, Wheeler Dealers, and Wheeler Dealers Trading Up. With the exception of Driven and Pulling Power, all these shows have subsequently aired on the Discovery Channel. He has also appeared in a series called Revved Up, in which cars are modified and presents coverage of the British Rally Championship on Sky Sports. He has presented a show called Remote Madness, in which people with remote-controlled minicars, boats, planes, and helicopters compete in a multi-challenge race. In 2010, Mike changed direction and fronted a new Discovery Channel series, Frontline Battle Machines, where he went to Afghanistan and accompanied frontline troops, showing how they use their motorized equipment. At one point, his helicopter took enemy ground fire, injuring the pilot in the head and damaging a hydraulic line, forcing a landing. Mike's journey as a host on Wheeler Dealers started in October 2003. The Discovery Channel hired him to present their new motoring show, which was to be titled Wheeler Dealers. Upon its launch, the program was met with success and featured Ed China as co-host and mechanic. Following changes to the show's production, China stepped down as co-host in 2017 and was replaced by Ann Anstead. In 2013, a spin-off of Wheeler Dealers was created called Wheeler Dealers Trading Up. The show featured Mike traveling around the world, buying and selling various cars to reach the final goal of owning a supercar. January 2020 saw the premiere on the Discovery Channel of the spin-off series Wheeler Dealers Dream Car, where Mike Brewer and Mark Elvis Priestley help car owners trade up their unwanted vehicles to get them the car of their dreams. Since the inception of the show, a lot has happened, and the major one is that of Mike and Ed China, who left the show for Ann Anstead to take over. Some couple of years later, a footage of Mike popped up on YouTube, in which he revealed details as to how Ed China left Wheeler Dealers. In the video, filmed at the Klingberg Vintage Motor Car Festival in Connecticut, Mike says Ed turned out to be not gracious. He did some very bad things, and when he did some very bad things, it meant that Discovery Channel just couldn't work with him. So they gave him the option to leave, and he took it. He wanted to go off and do another show anyway, and I'm waiting for his new show to appear. I think we all are. Mike said that while Ed would moan and argue, eventually he'd get to work, and the job would be done, but the issue is how long the process would take to get there. While Mike has established his point, Ed disagrees with his point of view. According to Ed, his decision to leave Wheeler Dealers was due to the production company's decision to cut down the very thing which made the show successful in the first place: in-depth coverage of the fixes performed on the cars in the workshop. Not only are these pieces rather difficult to film, but they're also time-intensive and, as a result, more expensive. This revelation by Ed made viewers angry, resulting in Mike being on the receiving end of their venom, which even came in the form of death threats to him and other members of his family. This made Mike publicly counter Ed's claims that Discovery planned to reduce the workshop aspect of the show in the upcoming season. There's no way on earth that anyone has ever suggested that the mechanical content of the show is going to be reduced. Where that came from, I don't know. It's not going to be reduced. Discovery channels are not going to change the format one iota. I've got a great new co-host. We're rebooting the series, and it's going to be phenomenal. Ed China recently started a YouTube channel where he wishes to help people who have uncompleted car projects at home and show the process to his subscribers. Also, he will be visiting experts to showcase unique skills, demonstrating classic and future technology, and test driving quirky vehicles. According to many fans, Ed left Wheeler Dealers on bad terms, but Mike Brewer insisted that Ed was offered a choice to quit the show, which he did. In another interview, Mike revealed, "Ed and I were bouncing along very happily. He was godfather to my child. We were best friends. We were bouncing along quite happily, but during the final year Ed was there, he just became more difficult. He became more angry with the way the show is being produced, and I could see that. I had my frustrations too, and they manifested themselves in different ways, but Ed's frustrations were taken out on people and crew, and he put himself in a position where it became untenable really. For Ed, what he wanted, more or less, was to work less. Unfortunately, Wheeler Dealers is an animal. You really need to be devoted to it and work 6 days a week to it and work 17-hour days. Don't get me wrong, Ed did that, and he worked fantastically, and he's an amazing talent, a brilliant mechanic, and he just became so disenchanted with the whole notion of how we made the show. The fact Wheeler Dealers was being filmed in America at the time also meant there were other distractions for him. When we were in California where we made the show, and you had the beach and the sunshine outside, I got the need to want to spend more time doing that and spend more time out there than being in the workshop, which is a box you're in for 12 hours a day. So for Ed, he just got to a stage where he simply had enough. There was no arguing, we never shouted, we never rode, he wasn't sacked, he wasn't pushed, he wasn't tripped, he wasn't cheated, none of that stuff. All you read online is absolute crap. He simply decided one day enough was enough. It wasn't for him, and he thought, and a lot of people do, he thought he was bigger than the show, and he could leave, and the show would die when he left, and that broke our hearts. After the interview, Ed, who must have watched it, also granted an interview request by another media house to clear the air. He said, "Wheeler Dealers is a great car show. Making Wheeler Dealers, though, is no easy task and requires a massive effort. Wheeler Dealers has been an enormous part of my life since 2002, a real roller coaster of demanding challenges and triumphant moments. Right now, though, I just feel relieved and exhilarated with freedom, and I can't wait to get cracking on the exciting opportunities that lie ahead." In the last interview, Ed was very selective with his word, as he didn't mention the show reduction part. The reason for this is unknown. Could it be that Ed was mischievous with his earlier interview when he used that as an excuse and to set Mike up for banters by internet trolls? Could it be that Mike and the show producers are hiding something, and Ed doesn't want to start an online war? Well, unless both parties sit down to trash the issue out, fans will only keep speculating, just like Mike said. Above all, it's good to know both Mike and Ed are doing great without each other. Mike has since moved on with the show since Ed left the show. Mike Brewer's career is worthy of emulation by other TV presenters, and his net worth has shown that it's worth all that stress. As of 2022, Mike is worth around $2 million, with a sum of $50,000 per episode of the show. Mike's earnings from other shows aren't made public as he loves privacy a lot, just to keep speculations far from him and his family. Mike and Ed have come a long way with their friendship, so it's important both guys grow up and trash the issue between them out, so they could at least team up once in a while to offer great content to the viewers, or what do you think?